So far.
On the door. I the vex. I the vex. Some they call me pagan. Then they say I be Satan. Cause I believe I be winner. Stop calling me a sinner. If you truly believe in the church, as I don't want to know. If you really believe in the mosque, me I don't want to know. If you believe in the pastors, as I don't want to know. If you believe in the imam, me I don't want to know. Make you shine your eyes, and free yourself. Oh lo. Make you shine your eyes, and free yourself from mental slavery. Make you shine your eyes, and free yourself. Go. Make you shine your eyes,
Let's not waste time, and let me begin by greeting everybody from wherever you're watching, from Germany, from France, from New York, London, UK, from Canada, even here in Nigeria, everywhere all over the world, all cities. Happy Sunday to you all. I greet you. Well, I want to quickly just dissect the statement of denial by the SSS, and I'll begin by saying that let us be fair. Let's be fair. There are two reasons we should be fair to the SSS at this point. Number one is that for the first time in a long time, the SSS has proven that they are actually feeling the pulse of the people, and they are also, if you read the statement very well, they also knew that they have lost sympathy, and that the sympathy is actually on the side of Sowore. So they knew that the guy is actually popular, unlike what they thought. The guy is actually not inconsequential. So you have to be fair to the SSS. They read mood, they read the atmosphere, they read mood of the people. So give it to them. They read it, and they actually indicated it in their last statement, making denial of how they actually invaded the courtroom to arrest Sowore. Number two, fairness to SSS. They took their time to write it, read it again, write it, read it again, write it, read it again. You see that they have improved. We are teaching them how. You people are teaching them how to do their job. Afunaya can actually now say that, okay, this one, let us see whether we have improved. Yeah. And I must also commend the SSS that this time they waited, gauged everything, waited for all the videos to come out, the videos so far, so that they can say, did our men actually? And then they now decide to couch it. Another person read it. They read and proofread and all that. Let me say this. 3 things I want to do today on this show is to say, number one, I want to dissect the SSS. I will tell you what is true in their statement and how public sentiment may have also not been fair to SSS. That's number one thing. Number two thing I want to do is to tell them the reason they did what they did. That's number two thing. The reason they did what they did. Number three thing, please remind me. Number three thing is to tell them what they want to do as condition for Sowore to get out this time, which is to make it stringent, and it might also look impossible. But there is also a way out for that one. I mean, legally. But let me begin with the first, which is to tell you dissecting the SSS denial statement. Number one thing they claimed in their statement, if you read it very well, okay, if you read it very well, number one thing they said is that they never invaded the courtroom. that they never invaded the courtroom. Yes, it is true. Let's be fair to SSS. They did not intend or plan to invade the courtroom, but their men strayed into the courtroom by mistake. As a result, they scared the judge because the man who pulled the trigger and the other one who braved following up. I'll describe the scene. A lot of people were scared and they ran back into the courtroom, so they could not really capture what happened there. There is a passage, just a small hall in that court 10. As you come out of the door of the courtroom, you see small hall. The SSS men already invaded and occupied that place. I'll show you the video. As Sowore and his supporters were coming out of the room, this is what they were confronted with. I hope you can see.
What will you do? Excuse me. Sorry? Kill all of us! Kill all of us! Who's arresting here? Come on, kill all of us here! Why? What is it?
Let me pause it. Let me take it back a little. This is, you see the door of the court. Let me mute the audio so that we can hear ourselves. Now you can see that is the door into the small courtroom. That passage you see SSS men already filled it up. You can see their cap. The ones in uniform who are also armed with gun and the rest of them. You can see that this is the door to the courtroom, leading into the courtroom. So the court was still in session because they already called the next case, and the lawyers in the next case were presently or currently announcing their appearance. Now, in the course of this commotion, where Sowore supporters were trying to push him back into the courtroom to prevent him from being shot at by those SSS men. They were preventing him from being shot at. They don't want him to be shot at. So what they did was to push him back into the courtroom. And then one of the SSS men mistakenly strayed into the courtroom while they raised the gun. Let me show you. They were raising their gun already, trying to scare everybody back and isolate Sowore. That was the plan. In the course of doing that, they scared the judge. The judge abandoned the next court case that they were already announcing, and the lawyers were already announcing appearance. Okay, so the court was still in session for another matter. But the judge had to disappear because she also saw SSS men straight into the courtroom following those guys that were trying to guide Sowore from being shot because they already pulled trigger. Maybe you didn't see it. Just look well again. Let me forward it to that point. Forward it well to that point. You can see, just watch very well. All this place, you can see those men in cap. They were SSS men. All those black cap with their, you can see it well. Yes, see them. Somebody raised his gun and then they were being cautioned not to raise. See this man in glasses. Let me take it back a little. And that is the next point I'm going to make. Just hold on. I'm going to pause it when I get to that point. See this man in glasses. This man. Can you see him? This man is also an SSS man. He's the one who led them to come and arrest Sowore. He's the one coordinating what they are doing. I'm slowing it down. Can you see? He's giving them instruction. Can you hear? He's saying, come back, withdraw. And when he was saying withdraw, what he was saying, now in this process, one of the SSS men with his cap and his gun also strayed into the court, so scaring the lawyers and the judge. Look at them. Now, this is what they did. What they did was that they stationed, I mentioned it in my first broadcast on that same day when I came back from Abuja to Lagos. I mentioned it that they stationed about 8 men into the courtroom who were not dressing like SSS but who were SSS. About 8 of them pretending to be lawyers, wearing suits and all that. They had those ones in the room. One of them is the one who was holding Sowore down, pinning him down and trying to strangle him. Do you understand it? That one's pinning Sowore down. I'll tell you his name. But he's fondly called Marshall. Alright? They are all SSS men. About 8 of them in the courtroom, not wearing, the normal SSS wear, but wearing, we are alive. Alright? But wearing suits and other corporate dresses, including wearing lawyers' wigs, but they were SSS men. But they were in the courtroom and also trying to infiltrate the ranks of the comrades supporting Sowore. Okay? His name is not Marshall. They just call him Marshall. I'll tell you his real name. Let me tell you his real name. I have it. I'll say it as we go on. But the point is that they stationed people in the courtroom, and the plan is this: that when those that are trying to shoot to scare comrades away so that Sowore could be isolated, and he will be grabbed by the SSS men waiting at the corridor, in case he was going to push back at all, they already stationed about 8 of them wearing suits at the back to hold him back and prevent him from getting back into the courtroom. That was the point. That was the plan. Which is why, while comrades were forcing Sowore back into the courtroom to prevent them shooting him, the main guy at the back of Sowore, trying to make sure that he prevents Sowore from getting back into the courtroom, that one was also more, they say, you're about to say, he followed Sowore back into the courtroom, also trying to stay grab. He was grabbing Sowore for the SSS men who were armed to grab him, to grab Sowore. So that was his own role, and it was not the only one. There were about 8 of them, some of them wearing lawyers' robe, in the courtroom. So when the SSS came out, when the SSS men, I'll tell you his name. Yeah, his name is Diko. No, it's not Diko. It's something that sounds like Diko, but it's not Diko. 1 second, I'll give it to you now. So let me just continue. No, forget that the freeze. You have to understand that the freeze plight. That guy needs to survive. He gas chop now. You understand? So he's an OAP. OAPs in Nigeria, they just won't survive, and they are trying to also play safe. So understand. Ignore that. Daddy freeze is not your problem. Daddy freeze is also just trying to survive, and he wants to be safe. You understand? So he's not the one you are up against. Leave Daddy freeze. Face your issue. Don't be distracted by Daddy freeze. Is it here? Okay, it's on my other phone. Now what I'm simply trying to let you know, I'll get the name for you, don't worry. So they planned, some will be at the back trying to get Sowore to prevent. Okay, his name is Deco Nelly. Deco, Dekokonelly, Deco Nelly, aka Marshall. That's his name. So they have about 8 of them stationed in the courtroom, and we already saw those ones. But we did not know that they were already sending armed men to also come and wait at the corridor leading out of the courtroom. So the plan was, you stay, follow him, block him, and make sure that you help us capture him for the armed men. So, but the moment the comrades saw that the armed men were at the corridor, they decided to prevent the armed ones from getting Sowore or shooting at him, because they already cocked their gun. And then the other one holding Sowore back, for trying to guide Sowore back for the armed ones to capture, that one was pushed along with Sowore back into the courtroom by the comrades. And in the process, one of those ones in cap who had cocked his gun also strayed into the courtroom. That was what the judge saw, and she escaped immediately. So the judge also fled, abandoning her next case. She abandoned her next case. That was what happened in a nutshell. Now, let us also be fair to the SSS. They also said that they did not invade the court. If you did not invade the court, what were your men doing as far as 4th floor? Because that was, court 10 is at the 4th floor. 4th floor of the building. They were lined up from outside. You saw the pictures already. They were lined up from the outside. They bombarded the gates. I'll show you. They bombarded the gates. See them at the gates. They bombarded the gates. All right.
This guy.
They bombarded the gates. See them. They bombarded the gates. And also, they had some men also at the staircase. Floor 1, floor 2, floor 3, floor 4. And then some also lined up to the door of the courtroom. They surrounded everywhere. The reason they did it, and they also in the courtroom had those that were wearing suits, pretending or disguising not to be SSS. But we know they were SSS. Now, the reason they did this is in case Sowore escapes those in the courtroom, he will not escape those at the door. In case anything happened and he escapes those at the door, he will not escape and he manages to enter lift. If he finds himself at 3rd floor, there were men waiting there. If he finds himself at 2nd floor, there were SSS men waiting there. If he finds himself at the ground floor and at the premise of the court, there were men waiting there. If he finds himself outside of the court, there were men waiting there. So it was a full squad. They moved the entire SSS to the court for Sowore alone. Funny enough, we do not have this kind of arrangement for Boko Haram. Have you wondered that? Anyways, I digressed. Now, they started making other claims that Sowore flouted this or that. If Sowore flouted any of the conditions in the court, you have flouted more than that, but Sowore has not even flouted, and I'll prove it. Even if Sowore flouted, according to claims, the court only said he should not address public gathering, which he has not done within the short hours he was released. And if at all Sowore flouted any law, any bail condition, was it not proper for you to just go back to the court and make application for revocation of his bail on the ground that he flouted the condition? Is that not? Simple now, but they did not do that. What the SSS did instead was to take laws into their own hands, thereby even scaring a judge in the courtroom. So they did not aim to go and scare the judge in the courtroom. Their men only strayed, and they were the ones that were harmed were immediately called to order, and then the ones in the courtroom who were wearing suits continued their job of trying to push him back outside for those outside. That was what happened in the courtroom. So that's exactly what happened at the court. Now let's go back to the reason, which is number 2 purpose of this broadcast. The reason they did this. The reason they did this is that they don't want Sowore to. We started suspecting when they sent some people to come and protest at the court. Number 2 is that number 2 reason we started suspecting again is when their lawyer came and said, okay, he wants to apply for adjournment in February. I was like, that's a long time for Sowore to be in circulation. I want to be fair to SSS now. So I started suspecting they must have a second plan. When Falana now rose to say they have information that Sowore will be arrested in the presence of the court, the judge was trying to douse the tension, and the lawyer was saying, no, he has no such information. Well, whether that is true or not, whatever the case, eventually, if they are claiming that it is not true, that they wanted to rearrest Sowore in court, how come it didn't happen? But we are here, finally. Okay, that also on the other side. Meaning that the DSS or the SSS is filled with lies. Another thing is the motivation of the men that came to arrest Sowore. They were masked. Some of them were not motivated to do it, but they felt compelled because it is duty calling. They were not motivated to do it because they knew it was illegal and wrong, totally. Some of them were. So they led with the ones that were really willing to do any shit. The ones that were not motivated because they felt it was the wrong thing to do, those ones stayed back. You will see that those ones were not really feeling motivated. And I showed you the picture, which I can always display over again. See, these ones are they were not really feeling motivated because they felt like it's not the kind of assignment that this service can be, the SSS can be proud of. It's wrong. But at any rate, desperate regime will do anything to justify whatever they do. Now let me send a message. Let me send a message to those that are supporting anything APC does as far as it is APC, or anything Buhari does as far as it's Buhari. You see, it is the same thing those that supported Jonathan did that made the guy lose the second election. And I've always said it, that it is not Sowore or anybody that brought Buhari. It is Jonathan that brought Buhari because he was so reckless. And those that would have been calling him to order, but who failed to do that, are the ones who led Jonathan to lose the second election. The same way those of you that are supporting Buhari now, if you are not calling him to order as per what he is doing, that is wrong. You are the ones. You can now see that the whole world is already attending to this matter and responding to it. You don't know what you are doing. Lead him to whatever we are supporting. See, henceforth I'm supporting APC. Yes. Henceforth I'm supporting the wrongdoings of APC, because it is the same way you are assisting those in PDP assisted Jonathan to lose election. It is the same way we will support those of you in APC now defending the wrong things that this government is doing. We will help you. All right? If you cannot be calling somebody to order, see, let me tell you, if Sowore wins election tomorrow morning, I will be one of his critics. When you are criticizing somebody you support to power, it's because you want him to succeed. But if you are defending the rubbish he is doing, you are helping him to fail. So let us help the APC people now. Henceforth, don't be surprised when you see me posting something supporting the APC. It is to help them. It's their cause, because they don't want to learn. Now, the reason they are doing what they are doing to Sowore is because they can't afford to have Sowore in circulation between now and February. So they are going to quickly arraign him before another court, which is abuse of process. They want to arraign him before another court before then, so that he will not be in circulation before then. They can't cope. They cannot cope with a Sowore in circulation again. That is why they are doing what they are doing. Now, going forward, I will reveal what they want to do after this very short break. And this short break is to replay the video of how Sowore was attacked in court. People have been raising concern about a particular person dressed as a lawyer trying to shoot something in Sowore's ear. I think we have a closer view of it.
You cannot do Sowore! You cannot do Sowore! Cannot be killed! Look at his face!
That's the first one. Look at his face.
They are hitting him! Snap him! What's the problem? What is the problem? Why are you hitting me? Look at it!
Now, look at this again.
They are hitting. Snap him! What's the problem? What is the problem? Why are you hitting me? Go outside! Why are you hitting me? Back on! Thank you. You will not this country belongs to the people.
I can see that the rush of comments, the comments are not coming again. But let's do this. Let's do this. I'm going to have to remove the comments from the back now, but I'm reading your comments on my hand, but the one on the screen is no longer coming. Hmm? Let me just take off the comment on my back now. 1 second. I'll do that right away. Okay, but let me continue while I do that. You see, the fact remains that now I'll read comments. I'm looking at them. Don't worry. I'm looking at the comments as they come. They are rushing. That's why it is hanging on my background. Yeah, I can read your comments, people. Don't worry. All right. So, as we were saying, they cannot cope with Sowore in circulation. So the idea is to keep him out of circulation. Now, the concern about whether Sowore was poisoned. Yes, we know that people attacked him in court, including those who were pretending to be sympathizers. But then again, I'll tell you that while I first doubted it, it later occurred to me when I tried to take closer zoom on Sowore himself after that particular incident. I noticed something started swelling to the right side of his head. In this video I uploaded just this morning.
Or their respect for human rights. And I'm speaking to the rest of the world as well. To understand that it is
you may not see it well, but let me try zooming it. Let me try to zoom it for you. How do I do this? 1 second, just hold on. Let me see if I can do it from here. Okay, don't worry. Let me do this one. Let me try to zoom it like this. Let me try to zoom it. If you look close to the air, that particular place that was touched or where there was impact, let me zoom it close. Let me zoom it close. I noticed that place looked like started.
Nigeria has slipped back into total fascism.
You see something
and
like
we have a tyrannical regime fully entrenched in this country.
So
even under the military,
while it is not
nobody
totally
ever entered the courtroom.
You can see it.
To try to shoot.
But while you cannot immediately tell if that thing is true or not, that it was poisoned, it is also strange why it should be attacked in such a manner. And at the same time, urgent call for medical attention, I cannot immediately disagree with. So I would also think that, yeah, it is okay if they would immediately have to attend to Sowore for examination and treatment. But one thing you can tell immediately here is that there's desperation to keep Sowore out of circulation. Desperation, I say. Okay. Let me take some comments. I don't know what happened to the comment stuff here. Well, I don't know. I don't know whether it is injection or viral. Yeah, I'm reading comments now, so you can keep the comments coming. I'm still trying to see how I can get the comments to display again on the screen, and then we can relate with it together. But that's just the point. I'll also say, while I have advised that you ignore OAPs or unheard personalities as they call themselves, it's the same way you should also ignore others who are trying to rationalize the bullshit. But there's a message for them. There's a message for them. Whatever you wish for Sowore is fine. You know why? Sowore is trying to liberate Nigerians and the people of Nigeria. If Sowore succeeds, good luck to everybody. If Sowore fails, good luck also to everybody. But one thing is certain. If Sowore fails, wherever it stops is where your children will continue. And I say this on the background of the fact that they have started this fight since, okay, I can get comments back again now. They started this fight ever since military days. or even since independence. They did not succeed, and that is why we are back to where we are. If Sowore succeed in this, if they had succeeded then, we will not be fighting now again. But they did not succeed, and that is why Sowore decided to come back and continue the fight. If Sowore does not succeed, if Gani Fahimi succeeded, okay, let me trace it back a little. If Awolowo succeeded, we will not be where we are today. If Ojukwu succeeded, the Biafra struggle you are currently agitating for, you will not still be doing it in 2019. If MK Abiola succeeded, we will not be where we are today. If Gani Fahimi also succeeded, forming NCP and trying to make sure that the country gets well, we will not be where we are today. Now, if Sowore succeeds, your children will not be refighting the fight in another 10-20 years. But if it does not succeed, good luck to you. So those of you in APC doing party loyalty, PDP party loyalty and all that, congratulations. Support your tyrants, support your oppressors. Your children will continue from where Sowore stops. So you can only help the government to win Sowore, to break Sowore, or help Sowore to win against your oppressor, so that your children can have a good future. Otherwise, all of you will run out of the country and leave the country for those that want to break it. And you'll be fine. But at any rate, it's all good. Do as you want it. Alright? At this point, some of us are we no longer care. Alright? Some of us no longer care. Everybody knows the truth, but some of us no longer worry. Anything that happens, your children will continue from where Sowore stops. That's just the point. Because Sowore is continuing from where Gani Fahimi and the rest of them stopped, that they could not succeed. Where Ken Saro-Wiwa stopped and he could not succeed. Sowore is continuing from there. And it looks like Sowore is about the last person that is still in that talk of fighting for civil freedom, or for the civil space to be free. If Sowore does not succeed, I'm sorry for all of you. Your children will continue from where Sowore stops. So it is better you support your oppressor now and break Sowore, or support Sowore and let your children come and enjoy. Otherwise, your children will continue from wherever Sowore stops. So that is what I've been telling all of those that are supporting the oppressive state against Sowore. Support your oppressor, your children will continue from where Sowore stops. That's the point. Now, but the question whether we want Sowore to succeed, for me personally, how we want Sowore or anybody who is doing this fight to succeed. Because now you go better, now on top and into you go better. Now on top you go better, now him them bomb me. Alright? I'm 32. We see the year you go better, and it's even getting worse than what it was when we were hearing it go better from inside womb. So I don't know what it will be in another 20 years if you continue to support what is happening. But at any rate, you're all good. We shall all be fine. This is to quickly appreciate those that are supporting this channel. Especially when anytime we have a project and they will say, oh, we know that you are spending money to do all this you are doing. I want to appreciate you, Mr. David. I appreciate you, Adeleke Koforola. I appreciate you, Mrs. Fadaunsi. I appreciate you, Comrade Udeme. And I appreciate the few others who said they would prefer not to be mentioned, or they would rather like to be neutral. Thank you all. I appreciate you. But one last message. I learned that one SSS person said that if Nigeria has, the entire population of Nigeria has only 10% of Sowore, that all the oppressors would have gone packing. Yeah. That because that is why they are trying to break Sowore. They don't want Sowore to infect others, so that they cannot get up to even 2% of Sowores in circulation. Because if they are up to 2% of Sowore in circulation, you can imagine the bundle of SSS men they used to bombard the court because of one person. Imagine we now have 10% of the population of Nigeria like that Sowore. You will know that the state is, the oppressors will be sent packing automatically. But because there's only one person trying to put it on top of his head, they are trying to make sure that they keep that one person out of circulation. That is what you see playing out. They don't want him in circulation at all. Now, let me also say this as I leave, or as I close, that Sowore was offered a lot of things. He could have accepted, but he refused. Do you think if Sowore wanted personal gain, he would not have accepted them? Do you know that Sowore was also offered even during Jonathan's era? And those of you that are screaming, Jonathan, well, the reality remains that Jonathan had a good chance, but he messed it up. Yes, those of you that are blaming Sowore for bringing Jonathan, you have not praised Sowore for bringing Jonathan. No, those of you that are blaming Sowore for bringing Buhari, you have not praised Sowore for bringing the same Jonathan. Where were you when Jonathan's house was being kicked out of the Aso Rock? Yar'Adua had since died in Saudi Arabia. They did not announce it. And they were oppressing Jonathan and almost making arrangements to kick him out for another one to come in. Where were you then? You are now acting as if you are more Jonathan than Sowore, who announced the death of Yar'Adua. Is that what you are doing? Think. Those of you that are accusing Sowore of bringing Buhari, you forgot that Sowore was also instrumental to the bringing of Jonathan. And what was the cause of the reason Sowore did not start exposing corruption under Jonathan? Sowore never told any lie against Jonathan. He reported everything, every atrocity under Jonathan. The same way he's doing under Buhari, the same way he did under Obasanjo, the same way he did under every government, the same way he had been doing during the military days. So you are making it look like Sowore just personally hated Jonathan. If Sowore loved anybody more than anybody, if he wanted to be sentimental, he loved Jonathan more. Yeah, you know why? They are both from Ijo. Sowore is from Ijo, Jonathan is from Ijo. Jonathan wanted to make Sowore minister. Sowore said, no, don't worry. I just want you to do Nigeria well. The same way Sowore believed that Buhari was coming as a one-time disciplined general to come and reset the country. But Buhari came, and the moment Sowore saw that this Buhari is also not, in fact, it's even worse. Sowore in his element came out again and started doing what he knows how to do best. And you are criticizing him because you are still stuck in your past of Jonathan. Even Jonathan himself knows that Sowore was not wrong. Shebi it is the same Jonathan who was sending Ruben Abati and Co to be writing against Obasanjo. The same Jonathan went back to Obasanjo after he was kicked out of office to go and be telling Obasanjo, and Obasanjo was now telling him, you are now wiser. Because power blinds people. The moment you are in power, you don't see. Which was what Sowore was always against. That why do people go blind when they are in power? It is what Sowore is fighting against. But those of you who will not understand it will be busy fighting the person who wants the country to be good for the future of your children. But whatever you do, it's all good. All of us will be fine at the end of the day. It is at this point or at this junction I want to say thank you all for your attention. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you, and I'm going to leave you with Larry Safari. Larry Safari, let's do this, please.
Oh yeah, I dey vex so. Safari on the door, I dey vex. I dey vex. Some they call me pagan. Then they say I be Satan. Cause I believe I be winner. Stop calling me a sinner. If you truly believe in the church, as I don't want to know. If you really believe in the mosque, me I don't want to know. If you believing in the pastors, as I don't want to know. If you believing in the imam, me I don't want to know. Make you shine your eyes, and free yourself. Oh lo. Make you shine your eyes, and free yourself from mental slavery. Make you shine your eyes, and free yourself. Oh. Make you shine your eyes, and free yourself from mental slavery. Listen now, Oyibo come deceive us. Then come bring that Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Even the story about Jacob.
My ancestors make you save us.
My people make on a wake up, wake up, wake